Hello, everybody. My name is Debbie Marriott. I am not a mathematician, although I did get a grade A at my O-level many years ago. I am, in fact, a designer, and I'm a banknote designer, and I work for the Bank of England. I've been involved in many banknotes over the years, and I was responsible for the design of the new £50 Polo banknote, which obviously features Alan Turing. So today, I am going to give you a bit of an insight into the creative journey of that note. It was launched on the 23rd of June 2021, which was actually Alan Turing's birthday. I hope many of you have had a chance to see the new note for yourself since then, and have a feel of the notes. And I think the most important thing about our banknotes is that you need to look at them closely, very carefully. And obviously we do that for many reasons, obviously to make sure that you know that it's a genuine note, but also whilst you're doing that, there are many interesting relevant information and design elements within that note that you can also use to verify the note, but also to know that it's based in many ways on Alan Turing within the design itself. So to start the journey, the Bank of England has a banknote character selection process, which involves a committee of both internal and external members. The committee chose the field of science in 2018 and for the 50, which was followed by a popular public nomination process. The public were asked to nominate a scientist to be considered for the back of the £50. So from almost 230,000 nominations, just under 1,000 of those were eligible as scientists for our new £50. And in July 2019, the Governor of the Bank of England, Mark Carney, then chose Alan Turing from a shortlist of 13 people. The Turing's competition from that shortlist included, amongst others, Mary Anning, Paul Dirac, Rosalind Franklin, Dorothy Hodgkin, Ada Lovelace and Charles Babbage, Stephen Hawking, and Ernest Rutherford. So from character selection, concept, detailed design, mass production and distribution, the whole process took approximately 2.5 years for our £50 polymer note to enter circulation. So the criteria for selecting a banknote character ensures that the person has made a significant contribution within their field, and that they reflect the diverse nature of our society, and that there is a recognisable and usable material available on which to base the design. We are very happy that Turner appears to have been a very popular choice for the £50 banknote. So this is the concept image, which is the first stage of the design process, and it was released publicly in July 2019. It gives a general impression of who and what will be on the note, including the main denomination colour, obviously red. But it's just the initial part of the design process, which is a very complex process. The banknote design is a very unique, art form. It is, in a way, a banknote is the business card of the nation. They must be easy to recognise, they must be easy to manufacture in millions, but they must be extremely hard to reproduce just once in terms for the counterfeiter. So it's a unique design challenge. So from concept, we begin the detailed design stage, where we translate the image to a highly specialised artwork that can be reproduced millions of times on polymer substrates. And here is the front 50. So it follows the same family style as our other three denominations in terms of the design layout and it has the highest level of security features along with the £20 note. The denomination is clearly red so that it is easy to differentiate between our other denominations quickly. And the £50 is also smaller than the previous paper version. It's similar in size to the paper 20, which means that it should fit into your wallets and purses much easier. So my job is to make the banknote aesthetically pleasing, but most importantly, the design must optimise all the necessary security features that are required to make our notes more secure against counterfeiting, as well as being functional and fit for purpose for all of its very different users. So within the design, we try to incorporate and celebrate the significant aspects of the life, work and achievements of the character that has been chosen. And if you look at the banknote closely, you will see many, many references to Turing on our £50. Most of these are depicted on the back of the notes, but there are also some interesting links to Turing on the front, which I will shortly show you. So here he is, the man. So researching the chosen character is one of the most interesting parts of my job. It's an opportunity to find out as much about Turing's life and work as possible. And even today, from Andrew's speech, I've learned even more about him as a man. So there are many photographs of him available, and elements of his work and artifacts that belong to him and relate to his life have been archived and preserved in various organisations. So it was easy on the design to represent the man. We used a great photographic source for Turing's portrait, which is taken from the National Portrait Gallery in 1951. It's depicted as a photographic image effect on the banknote also. He's a young man here who obviously died at the age of 41, but it's a fresh face image. It's very clean. It's an immaculate portrait, I think, and it reflects and captures the feel of the 1950s very well. And if you look closely, you will see that it's reproduced in a range of lines, dots, and dashes to create the full tonal effect of the photograph. So, for a designer, it was easy to represent the man, but much harder to represent his work and his achievements. So here you can see in very strong contrast the £20, which features the British painter Turner. Here we produce the great artistic masterpiece of the fighting temeraire within the design. So half of the job was already done. But unfortunately, we didn't have any strong masterpiece imagery available for Turing. Instead, we had to emphasize the maths, not machines, and computing, not computers, and that's very important. We're using mathematical tables and formula. They're not quite as aesthetically pleasing in terms of a visual image. So although it's not very visually attractive as a painting, for some, it was very important to incorporate this significant work from Turing's 1936 paper on computable numbers to represent that Turing is widely recognized for the foundations of computer science. So in a layering approach within the design, the next most important contribution to represent Turing was the automatic computer engine, the ACE pilot machine, which demonstrates his ideas taking form in the first electronic stored program computer. The machine was developed, as Andrew said, at the National Physical Laboratory and is the trial model of Turing's pioneering design. So here you can see on the back of the notes a detail of how we combine these two elements together. Two significant images to represent Turing's achievements. The table and formula hover over the machine in the background, and it was a challenge to achieve the right contrast and balance between the two images within such a small space available on the banknote. So there are many other interesting features within the banknote, and here you can see the reverse and binary codes. So Turing's paper in 1936 featured the concept of a machine fed by binary tape. The ticker tape here depicts Turing's birth date, which reads 19120623, or the year 1912, the 6th month, and the 23rd day. And also included is a reference to Turing's more famous code-breaking work with the representation of the technical drawings for the bomb machine, one of the primary tools used to break the Enigma-coded messages during World War II. So the intricate technical drawings that you can see here on the top right are well suited to the style of banknote design, which typically use very tight lines and patterns within the design anyway. So, here's Turing's signature. Our banknotes contain two signatures. On the front, we have that of the chief cashier, Sarah John, and on the reverse, we have the character. So Turing's signature on the back of our 50 is taken from the visitor's book of 1947, which is on display in Bletchley Park. So each of our polymer notes have carry a quote on the back of the notes from the character. There were many quotes of Turing's to choose from, but this was undoubtedly an inspiring and perfect choice, in my opinion. It is taken from an interview in the Times on the 11th of June, 1949, and reads, "This is only a foretaste of what is to come, and only the shadow of what is going to be." So Turing's less well known for his discoveries in the field of biology later in his life, and in particular morphogenetics, sorry, where he used mathematics to understand how natural patterns form, such as the spiral formation of seeds in the sunflower head and the arrangements of spots on a leopard. So this topic is of great interest to a designer and a delight to incorporate within the design. Apologies. So here you can see we have used the morphogenetic reference on this very important security feature on the front of the note, the two-coloured holographic foil. So as well as the similar silver design at the top and bottom of the foil, which is the same on each denomination, showing the crown and the flip between the denomination words and it's on my screen. Okay. Okay. So talking about the two-color holographic foil. Similar in design to the other denominations with the crown and the words, but flips at the bottom. But in the centre, the main foil motif is represented using Turing's reference. So it's two different elements in this part of the design, which are the two green sunflowers, based on his morphogenetic work, and the Fibonacci number sequencing, as it includes 21 spirals within the sunflower design, and also the gold microchip in the centre effect, which represents the future of Turing's pioneering work. This feature shows a flip from a pound symbol to the number 50 in the centre squares, and it's a key security feature to look for on the banknote if you are in any doubt. The sunflower is also used on the back in a red foil feature at the back with Turing's initials in the centre. So this is a very small reference on the front of the note, and if you look very closely at the front above the bank building in the centre, you will see the four national shields. So there's a tiny reference to Turing's morphogenetic diagrams in the small circles near the four nations. This is taken from some of these diagrams, which I think are at King's College now, and we've used them either side of the pattern in the middle. Very hard to see unless you have a glass. So Turing, as we all know, had very well-known links to Bletchley Park, which we have captured within other elements of the design. So on the front, we have a red border around the main window area. And you can see that we've used architectural features on some of the outbuildings at Bletchley Park within the main border design. So here you can see the clover shape that we've taken from one of the buildings. And in the second window, on the bottom right of the note, you can see that we've used decorative shape, which is reflected on the outer shape of the small window. So again, from the similar building, the pattern work and the architectural features. Now this is a very, very tenuous link with bear with me on this one. You need to glass for this one. So the centre front pattern includes rotating figure eights, which we have used from the hut number from the Bletchley Park. But we managed to get them in there. And more interestingly, I think with this one, it's on the front of our banknotes, underneath the Queen's portrait. We have on all of our denominations tiny micro lettering printed in intaglio print, and which you will need a magnifying glass to see clearly. So it reads the numbers and the denomination number. But here we based the shape, so the chain-like shape from inside the internal workings of the bond machine, from the small tube arrangements, which I think carry its oils to the necessary mechanical parts. And finally, diagrams fill the background on the reverse of the note, creating a patterned effect. It's taken obviously from the ACE progress report, which Turing worked on at the National Physical Laboratory in 1948. So the £50 design incorporates many features from Turing's life and work, which has been sourced from a number of organisations, including the London Mathematical Society. So we are very grateful for their support and expert knowledge during the design phase. So I hope you have enjoyed this very brief insight into the design of the Turing banknote and can remember some of these interesting facts so that you can share them with others. From my own experience, I think that there has been widespread enthusiasm for such a fascinating and inspiring banknote character choice. Thank you very much.